Welcome to the channel. My name is 𝗂𝗵𝗽. I'm a CICC licensed immigration consultant, and we do this weekly roundup every week, sometimes Saturday, sometimes Sunday, sometimes we miss it as well. But we do it every week so that we can bring you the latest updates, the latest ongoings, speculations, processes, things you should do, things you definitely should not as far as Canadian immigration is concerned. And this week, big boom, big blitz, big bang continues. IRCC is in an excellent, happy mood, and I hope that mood continues. I have to be very honest with you, okay? And as much as I'm forever hopeful, I did not expect this week to sort of come out with a big, nice 6,000 invitation draw in Canadian experience class. I mean, and I struggle with this whenever we make these predictions, speculations, and I struggle with this because IRCC is so unreliable. So, I mean, you can never really know which direction they're going to, wake up on the bed, and what are they going to do on that particular day or time. And it basically does not help people plan their journeys, plan their pathways to figure out what they should be doing, shouldn't be doing because of IRCC's inconsistencies. They have front-loaded this year with express entry draws, right? So they have now invited, 14,000 people already in the first month of this year, big bang. They invited 11,000 people before they were closing off for the last year. I can understand last year closing off because last year they absolutely played damn squids, right? Absolutely. And they didn't really invite a lot of people. CECs were really let down. So I could understand them closing off the year. Plus, they didn't really have too many applications in store in their inventory so that they could continue processing. So understandable. Front loading 2026, even better, obviously with the same logic that they did not have too many people in the inventory, and therefore they would like to continue because all these people that you are getting your ITAs now, they will all count towards the 2026 PR immigration levels plan, the immigration targets of 385, that number for this year. Federal high skilled is roughly about I keep forgetting those numbers, 120 or something of that sort. Again, a very short, small drop. I'm not sure. You know what? Let's check before we start thinking what these immigration levels plan for 2026 before we keep going into the wrong direction of talking about these numbers because they don't help. Okay, so federal high skilled this year, actually it's not 120, 120 is the high limit. For this year, it's 109,000. That's the number. Federal high skilled in terms of the immigration levels plan has to do with express entry. So everybody who will be invited in express entry. From this, they will invite Canadian experience class, categories, Francophone immigration category as well. So all categories and CECs. If you go with what they did last year with French 48,000 ITAs, and obviously they have managed to exceed their target for this year. So if they continue with that kind of French phenomena, we are struggling to see how they will sustain or how they will maintain this, this number of ITAs. And therefore, as much as I get excited with these draws, you got to take it with a pinch of salt for the future. Now, yes, there is a very good possibility that IRCC may continue this blitz for some time. They could continue for the next 2 weeks, next 2 months. It's absolutely possible. So before those questions about what are the chances for 508, 509, 507, 506 start pouring in, well, you guys should understand, should realize that there is no guarantees that the scores will continue to drop. There are no guarantees because along with the guarantees, what you need from IRCC is the certainty as to how many invitations will be issued, how frequently they will be conducting the draw, and that they will continue with the CEC blitz as we have seen so far. That would determine whether you will see a score of 507, 505, 505, 504, or those numbers. Another worrying thing which came into the pool this week was the pool breakdown. 501 to 600, we now had 16,341. Now, after they had invited 8,000 people last draw, this number had dropped to 13,000. Simple math, right? So 21,000 previously, 8,000 draw, dropped to 13,000. We know that. So that is the number that they should have had after they conducted the draw 2 weeks back with the 8,000 invitations. But in a span of 2 weeks, almost 3,500 people were back into the pool with the score. Now, is everybody a person who is a new person who got an ITA, or the person who came into the pool? So what I mean is that are all these 3,500 approximately people who came into the pool, are they all new applicants? Are they all new profiles? Are they all people who have got their masters, got their work experience, foreign experience, Canadian experience, English scores, French? Are they all new profiles? The answer is no. And why the answer is no is because there will always be people like this. This is a screenshot. Of course, I have removed the names. I do not want to invade into anybody's privacy for that matter. This is from one of our Facebook groups. And somebody's asking, does declining an ITA have a negative impact? I might have to decline my ITA because I retook my CELPIP after ITA, received the score, and it would not let me remove one of my work experiences, which I might want to, as I can't get documents for all of it. Well, first things everybody should be looking to do, if you're creating your Express Entry profile and if you're trying to claim points, don't wait until you get your ITA to then start getting your work experience documents, because there is no expiration date for your work experience documents. As long as you get your documents after the last working day in that company, and I'm assuming this person would have already worked and is claiming work experience from a company which is already, your past work experience. Once you get the date of issue, which is after your work period has already completed, then there is no expiration date. Even if it was issued 5 years back, that's absolutely fine. But waiting to get your ITA and then saying, okay, I can't get the document, so I must remove the work experience, so I must decline the ITA, that seems a bit criminal. In the sense, like, because every single time, this is just one example, right? There are, and I do a lot of consultations every single day, and I'm telling you, there are tons and tons of people who do decline ITA, sometimes for very, very silly reason. If you see in the same post, as I scroll down, the last comment says, I cancelled my ITA, received another, no issues. It states on the ITA itself, you are free to refuse and still be eligible for future draw. Now, I do not know why that last person declined that. ITA, of course, sometimes it could be a genuine reason why you have to decline an ITA, right? For example, you have received your ITA much sooner than you should have received, because it is a known system glitch, and there is no way you can complete that period of work within 60 days. For example, it happens in a lot of cases where you have 3 different work periods, one year each, Canadian experience class. System will tend to give you your points not 1 month, but sometimes even 2 months earlier. And then there is no possibility for you to complete your work experience within that 60 days. It happens in some profiles. Those are all genuine reasons where you would have to decline, because technically you can't complete that period of work, so you can't take that IT and proceed with it. But in a lot of cases, as I'm showing you on your screens now, there are instances where this situation is avoidable. Now, imagine if you are that person who gets hit by the tiebreaker, how would that feel, right? If you knew that the friend next door or the colleague sitting next to you is the one who has been declining ITAs. I know of one person who has declined multiple ITAs. And I had to tell him, why don't you get your profile out of the pool, right? There's no point until and unless you're absolutely eligible, you're absolutely sure. Why even be in the pool? Just get out of the pool. Once you're ready, once you have everything intact, then go. I can understand the tiebreaker rule as well. And therefore, you want to protect yourself and get into the pool. But it makes no sense if you're not going to be eligible and you keep taking IT after IT after IT. There are so many of such people. So when you see 3,500 people getting added into the pool so quickly in span of 2 weeks, of course, there are some genuine candidates, people who have completed their work experiences, people who have completed their masters or any other education, people who have improved their language proficiency scores. Ahlan wa sahlan, the most welcome. Please come. Come into the pool and take your rightfully deserved ITA. but it's those people who keep declining. And out of these 25,000 ITAs that we have now received over the last 2 months, with absolute certainty, I can guarantee and say that there are thousands of people who are declining ITAs coming back, declining ITAs coming back, declining ITAs coming back. Sometimes they're not sure. Sometimes it's a matter of spouse not accompanying. Like, for example, they got their ITA at a score of 5 and 5, but they're seeing the scores are going down. So they say, okay, you know what, I'll create another profile. So they create duplicate profiles. So now they have the 5 and 5, they're holding on to that ITA. They create another profile. So the scores, if the scores come down, so that they can get an ITA on this one, then add their spouse and then continue. Those are those people. Then those are those people who are unsure about certain things they've done in the profile. They have entered wrong language scores. They never had the language scores. Now, these are the guys who I cringe about the most. They don't have the best report or the ECA. They don't have the English language scores. They create a profile with dummy numbers, fake numbers. They just enter any report number with the expectation that once I will get the ITA, I will go appear for the English language test because I am such a hot shot anyways. I will get that scores in the one try and I will then update. Until then, I don't need to do all the hard work, let everybody else be a fool. I will just wait, I will get the ITA, then I will do it. For you guys, strict warning. IRCC is in no mood to play games the way you are playing, and your dummy information will land you into some very, very serious problem, because now you have misled the officer. This is pure material misrepresentation. You have deliberately, intentionally, consciously entered incorrect information with the intention of getting an ITA when you had no reason to have received one, and then making those changes and then submitting your application. Now, yes, in the past, some people did manage to get through, but then that was different mood of IRCC, different play of IRCC, and a lot of things did pass by. As of today, So declining ITA, my pet peeve. People, please don't do it. You really are ruining chances for so many other people who have been waiting, for who this might be the last chance, who might not get another ITA, maybe because the age is coming up, maybe their work experience is expiring. And therefore, please, please, please watch it. Okay, there is something else that I really wanted to talk to you about, and that is about the eligibility of the Canadian work experience. Now, this, I think, comes up so often in my consultations, and I think we should talk about it so that a lot of you who are confused are no longer confused. So what am I talking about? Canadian work experience. How long is it valid for? How long do you get the points? What is the eligibility? If you go outside Canada, will you still be Canadian experience class? Will you remain in Canada? Only then will you be Canadian experience class? Is it that if you're inside Canada, only then your profile will be accepted? Or if you're outside Canada, even then your profile can be accepted? So I'm going to answer all of these questions for you. I hope it is going to help some of you. First of all, Canadian experience class, that is a program in the Express Entry system. The other programs in the Express Entry system are the Federal Skilled Worker and then the Federal Skilled Trade categories. These are the three programs in Express Entry. CEC, or Canadian Experience Class, is just one of them. To be eligible under the Federal Skilled Worker, you just need to have at least 1 year of continuous full-time work experience in tier category 0, 1, 2, 3, paid work experience within the last 10 years. Okay. And you will also need to get 67 points on the eligibility scorecard of IRCC for Federal Skilled Workers. Then you are eligible as a Federal Skilled Worker. There is no such scorecard or 67 points eligibility for the Canadian Experience Class. To be eligible under the Canadian Experience Class, you need to have 1 year of work experience, paid, full-time, or its equivalent under tier category 0, 1, 2, 3, inside Canada, on a work authorization, working for a Canadian employer. That's your Canadian experience, and it should be within the last 3 years. So what does within the last 3 years means? So for example, today is the 24th of January, 2026. I have to go back. If I was going to submit I have already received my ITA, I'm going to submit my PR application today. So to establish myself as a Canadian experience class, if I was going to submit my PR application today, 24th of January, 2026, please hear this carefully, it's very important. You need to go back from today, 3 years back. So 3 years back would be 25th of January, 24th of January 2023. From 2023 to 2026, I should have 1 year of Canadian work experience. And that is what will make me eligible. Now I am Canadian experience class. Hey, I'm Canadian experience class. But I could have had 5 years of Canadian work experience. I get points for up to 5 years of Canadian experience. So if I have work experience from 2020, okay, that 2020 to 2021 Canadian work experience will not give me the Canadian experience class points. But if I have a total of 5 years of Canadian experience, regardless of when that period was, you will always get those points, okay? Even if you, okay, I know this gets very confusing, especially when you are calculating the points versus the eligibility in the class. To be eligible in the class, your work experience, 1 year at least, has to be within the last 3 years. So even if your work experience was from 24th of January 2023 until 24th of January 2024, you are still eligible in Canadian experience class. If your work experience was 2024 January 2025 until now 2026, welcome, you are Canadian experience class. But what if you had work experience in 2020? Let's say your work experience was only for 2 years, 2020 January to 2022 January, 2 years Canadian work experience. Will you get points for the Canadian experience? Yes. Will you be eligible in Canadian experience class? No. Why? Because at least 1 year of work experience should be within the 3 years period. This is very, very important to note. Please do not get confused about the points and the work experience. The points for Canadian experience, you can get for the whole 10 years. What I mean to say is that they're valid for 10 years. So whenever you have gotten your work experience from 10 years from that, you will get points. But what happens is once your 3-year period elapses, you are no longer eligible in Canadian experience class. You then become eligible in federal skilled worker class. And you now need to meet all the conditions of the federal skilled worker class to be eligible in express entry. I hope this is clear. You have to be very careful. The points is different. You will always get the points within 10 years, whenever your Canadian experience is. It doesn't matter. But to be eligible in Canadian experience class, it has to be within the last 3 years. This is also important for those people who are looking to go back to their home countries, who are looking to continue studying in Canada after their work permits have expired because they want to get more points and then they want to continue to be eligible in CEC. For those guys, always remember, always, as a rule of thumb, from the time you have completed your last 1 year of Canadian work experience, you will continue to be eligible in CEC for another 2 years. Why last 1 year? Because that last 1 year plus 2 years fall right between that 3 years. And that is the reason we say for until 2 more years after you have completed your last 1 year of Canadian experience, you will continue to be eligible as CEC. Points you will continue to get for the next 10 years. That doesn't matter. Within 10 years, you will always get those points. I hope this is clear because I know for a fact this has confused a lot of people out there. Now, off we go on to our weekly roundup. That's the reason why we are here. Oh, no, not you. You. Canadian Immigration Weekly Roundup. Let's see. What do we have this week? We have express entry, PNP updates, other news. IRCC did not conduct a draw on the 19th of January, which was a Monday. Instead, they conducted a draw on 20th of January. Now, obviously, on the 19th, they did give a lot of anxiety pangs to so many of us, like what the hell is going on IRCC again? Have you stopped the draws or what? But I think one of the reasons why they didn't conduct the draw on the 19th, on Monday, is primarily because their systems have been playing a havoc. They are going completely bonkers. The GC key has been off and on for the last 1 week now. Every single day, in the middle of the day, it goes completely kaput. So it probably, and Monday, for the most of the day, the system was down. So that is one of the reasons why it could have been that they did not conduct a draw on the 19th of Jan. But on 20th of Jan, they made a comeback and they conducted a PNP specific draw, 681 invitations, CRS score of 746. And the very next day, they answered prayers of so many of you out there with an invitation draw of 6,000 invitations, score dropping by 2 points to 509. This is another one which is very, very interesting, which everybody must take note of. And that is that from here on, as and when CEC draws happen, please bear in mind, don't expect to see a very, very big drop. Because if the number of people who keep declining their ITAs and the number of people who keep getting added into the pool, that number remains high, unfortunately, you will not see a lot of people getting invited again, in the sense like, I don't see IRCC conducting 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, those kind of draws consistently. At some point of time, they will level out. You will start seeing 3,000, 4,000 kind of draws. Now, if you see those kind of draws, 3,000, 4,000 or 2,500 kind of draws, bear in mind the scores with these number of people getting added into the pool means the scores will either remain the same, or in some cases, they might even go up. So pray hard that this blitz continue. Whoever is praying, whoever is manifesting, please, join your hands, form those manifestation circles and pray and send out those positive vibes that this continues for as long as it does. Because for as long as it will, you will see the drop, maybe by 1 point, 2 point at most, not too much, depends on the number of ITAs, of course. But the minute they start tapering out, unfortunately, then you will not see too much of drop. At most a 1 point drop if how many people have gotten added into the pool, or in worst case, it might start going up again. So something everybody must be aware of when they're declining their ITAs, when they're letting go of their ITAs. You don't know if there will be another draw again next week and you will get invited. So always be very careful and absolutely be certain that you have to let go of an ITA. Be very sure that you know what you're doing. PNP updates. Now, BC PNP has increased their application fees. They used to charge 1,475. Now, for the skills immigration application, they will be charging 1,750. It's all about money, yeah? Alberta has announced their AIP, Alberta PNP quotas. Now, surprisingly, it's not a very big number. I mean, Lena Diab announced the PNP targets, right? And we were told in November that the PNP targets are going to get increased, and the PNP targets for this year are 91,500, which is 37,000 more than last year. Last year was 55,000, but of course, during the course of the year, they kept increasing everybody's PNP quotas little by little, and they eventually landed up giving almost the same 85,000 quotas to everybody. This year, the number is 91,500, but the individual PNP allocations hasn't really increased a lot. Alberta has 6,403, that's all they have got. Out of which opportunity stream gets 3,425, rural renewal gets only 1,000, dedicated healthcare pathway gets 500, express entry all streams gets 1,238, tourism and hospitality gets 150, and entrepreneur streams get 90. Well, 90 for entrepreneur streams is not bad. I think that was something which was a long time coming. And they have not included the physicians and the francophone candidates in their count. Why? Because the physicians have already been announced as a separate category by the federal government, allocating 5,000 spots. And francophone is also being given another category by federal, announcing another 5,000 spots for those francophone targets. So not only have we met the target, we have exceeded the target for francophone, but IRCC has now announced another 5,000 spots for them. Thunder Bay has also launched their 2026 to 2030 economic growth strategy. So if you are targeting Thunder Bay for, I don't know, RCIP or PNPs, then bear in mind their priority sectors include business expansion, workforce development, and population growth. I do not know. And the key factors are mining, forestry, logistics, manufacturing, and tourism. Not sure what exactly the knock codes that would be included herein. I guess year on year, we'll have to keep a watch on that. In other news, Canada has exceeded its francophone immigration target for 2025. Hey, welcome, francophones. They have reached for this year 8.9%. Okay, and this was above 8.5% that they were thinking. And they have also allocated 5,000 additional federal allocation spots. And this would include for PNPs or for Express Entry or the other community or other programs that they have, giving more priority to the French-speaking immigrants. And they intend to go up to 12% by 2029, which is for all those people who are still thinking, should I still learn French? Will IRCC continue to invite Francophones? Will I have a chance there? Yeah, for you guys, please do learn French. It is absolutely a good pathway to have. Students and workers, that number continues to drop. We have 60% fewer new students and 47% fewer new temporary workers. Again, that numbers is dropping. Obviously, that is what was the intention, and that has been achieved as an objective. Anyway, that's all that I have. Connect with us on social media platforms. We are everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, actually pretty much everywhere. Okay, and just to remind whoever is watching, and if you don't really know what you're watching, then my name is 𝗂𝗍𝗄𝗏 𝗏𝗏. I'm CICC licensed immigration consultant. I run an immigration company in North York, Toronto. Surprisingly, I was just counting that we now have 11 RCICs, including me, on our team. 11 as working with 𝗪𝗏 Immigration. 11. That's a pretty big number. I mean, I thought, and of course we have case workers and case managers. So that I thought was pretty good to have managed to be able to build a team of so many RCICs. So we handle all kinds of immigration applications. So if you're looking for representation, please do drop us an email. We are on, we changed the email address. So yes, we are on this email now. hello@askkubeh.com. So just drop us a hello and let us know if you're looking for representation. We will be very happy to take you on as a client. askkubeh.com/consultation. That is the link if you are looking to book one-on-one to discuss your queries, your concerns, and to figure out what is going on in your application. By all means, yeah, book a consultation. And oh, no, we don't want you. We are now moving to the main segment of our stream, and that is the questions. And before I get on to the questions, very quickly, obviously, I will not be able to answer all the questions. It just has never happened that I've been able to cover all the questions. So please, after this live stream is over, after this video is done, in the video section of this live stream, please come back, post your comments, your questions, and by today and tomorrow, I usually monitor the stream for one day at least. I will come back and try to respond to as many questions as possible. Okay. Okay. Can I have an EE profile and PR application at the same time? Yes, you can, though I do not know why you would want to do it as and have a PR application and an EE profile. But if it is a non-Express Entry PR application and you also want to have an Express Entry profile, just in case you get an invitation, you are absolutely welcome to do that. Also bear in mind that you can have more than one ongoing in-process PR applications. It's legit, it's allowed, it's acceptable. And at some point of time, whenever IRCC is looking to finalize one of your applications, they will ask you to withdraw your application. Then at that point of time, you will have to withdraw one of them. Closed work permit extension refused because old employer portal A number reused. Employer already paid once and may deny paying again. Any legal option other than employer resubmission? Well, if it has been refused specifically because you have reused an A number, then that's it. Then your employer just needs to redo it again. I know it might be difficult, but unfortunately not. If your A number has already been used once, then you will have to get it again. I came to Canada on 13th of January, PCC issued on 16th of January. Can I still use it for PR? Never visited afterwards. Yes, you can. Please make sure you add a cover letter stating you got your PCC after you had left that country and you did not go back, and therefore it should be considered as valid. And if they need a newer one, then you can certainly get one. OINP, can I use NOC without holding PEng? My role does not involve assigning documents and if needs to be stated in the job offer letter. Well, I don't know your role and therefore I cannot comment or guide you on this one. Please look at the employment requirements of the NOC code. See if you can perform the job that you are saying you are performing and it comes under that NOC code without the Eng license, then of course you can. What does past related job experience means in RCIP? Does it have to be the same NOC code or the same skill level? Can I work as a cook in my previous experience is in welding. So past related word when it comes means it has to be within the same field of occupation. Hopefully the same knock code, that would be brilliant. But if you're taking points for past related word would always mean to that field of occupation. So if you are, I don't know, cook, you could get away with cook, assistant cook, or I don't know, baker in some cases, if you want to call that. But if you're a welder and claiming work experience as a cook, or if you're a cook and claiming work experience as a welder, then these are not related work experiences. So that's what it basically goes with. I have a medical information sheet which I have done in 323. I have an expiry date of 324. Can I use it for the same for CEC Inland PR Upfront Medicals? Yes, you can. As per the latest IRCC's public policy, and let's see if we can pull that up. CICC Medicals, Medical Express entry. You can. There is a latest public policy which says that if you are completing your medicals, then if you are inside Canada, you may, why don't I have it? Then you may, sorry, I'm just trying to show you the screen so that I can, yeah, I can here. On your screens now, okay? I will just remove you. Yes, so this one here very clearly says, we have extended the temporary public policy to exempt foreign nationals in Canada from the immigration medical examination requirements until October 5, 2029. Okay, so if you have completed an immigration medical examination within 5 years of submitting your new application, include the IME number, or in your case, just include the old medicals because it's within the 5 years. And the reasons why you may be exempt, you have to, you may be exempt if you meet all these conditions, all. You have applied or are applying for permanent residence or temporary residence. You already live in Canada. You completed your previous IME in the last 5 years. Your previous IME indicated a low risk or no risk to public policy, to public health or public safety. So therefore, please, by all means, use the same medicals and it's good to go. Sometimes you can even add the screenshot as a cover letter just to help IRCC establish that. I have 1 year of experience under pest controls. Can I claim 50 points? Your response is valuable for me. In my opinion, it's only an opinion, you can't. Pest control license does not give you the certificate of qualification points, at least not in my experience. Of the few people who have claimed it, unfortunately couldn't really get through on with this one, and the applications have been refused. I know there are few cases earlier, couple of years, 3 years back, when some people managed to get away with it. As of right now, no. So yeah, in my experience, it hasn't happened. If you are able to get a different opinion elsewhere, or if you are able to get some legal documents which say you can, then maybe you can pursue that. OINP job offer stream, who pays for closed work permit? You pay for the closed work permit, always. It's your work permit, you are applying for it, you will pay for it. The employer will pay for the compliance fee, you will pay for your work permit. Will leaving Canada and re-entering 45 days prior to my postgraduate work permit expires, will this be an issue at the border if I have a valid TRV job AOR? See, the thing is, whenever you re-enter Canada and you are entering Canada as a temporary residence holder, right? So you have a TRV, which is temporary residence visa. You're coming back to Canada. You're coming back to Canada as a visitor. The border officer has the complete authority in letting you through or not. And their concern is that, first of all, what is your purpose of visit? How long are you going to be staying? And will you be returning or not? So if you are able to prove to the officer that your intention is only temporary and that you have a legal valid reason to be in Canada, and that if whatever the purpose of your visit is, for example, if you have an ongoing PR application, etc., that if that is refused, you will definitely leave, and that you will not work illegally. Because here you are saying, I have a valid TRV job and AOR. Having a job but not having work authorization means you may want to work illegally. So be very careful with this. And it's your job to be able to demonstrate and convince the officer that your intention is to always comply with the conditions of your entry into Canada. So that's the way to go about it. Got ITA, CRS 519, 3 years experience, but completes in March, work permit expiring Jan 31, with 2 years, 508, short by 4 days. What should I do? Well, unfortunately, you can't do much. Now, I know a lot of people would suggest dummy extension. I can't recommend that. It's entirely up to you. If you choose to do that, you will have to be able to explain to IRCC what you're trying to do here. But unless you apply for a new work permit or you get another work authorization, you will not be able to complete this work period, and therefore you cannot claim those periods of that period of work. Your call. 𝗂𝗵𝗽, yesterday, 2 years ago, your advice was hard to hear, but it was exactly what I needed. Thank you for being honest. Good to everyone. Well, Dibu, thank you so much. I really appreciate that comment and that note. Yes, obviously, right? People sometimes misunderstand that the advice is meant to be easy. Not all advice is easy. Not all advice is straightforward. The idea is, are you willing to put in the hard work? And from your situation, I think you did what was required to do. So congratulations. Well done. Newfoundland student PNP, no employment restrictions, permit expiring soon. Can my employer add a secondary work location which is 100 kilometers away from primary location in T13 job offer? Will work permit for 2 location? No. If again there were employment restrictions depending on what your employer was, where your employer was based, or did the location of your employer influence your nomination, then obviously you cannot add another location. And your employer cannot add anything in T13 job offer. Your employer can simply state that you will be working for us, and that's pretty much it. And in most cases, even if your employer mentions a different location, the officer who is issuing your work permit will go strictly as per your nomination letter, and that's the basis for them to approve your work permit. Foreign experience letter on company letterhead lacks signatory details, address only on page 2, signature cropped, issued from official email ID, employer is a large recruiting firm. Is it acceptable? Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, yes, it's acceptable. Is it acceptable to the officer? It will depend on them. It's their discretion. If the signature is cropped, why is the signature cropped? I mean, you can always provide the copy of the email or the screenshot of the email or a PDF print of the email that you have received. It always helps to establish the genuineness of where the document came from. In addition to that, you can also add the contact details of the signatory yourself so that the officer can reach out if they need to. But anytime the documents have some sort of crops and all, that's always puts that into the bracket of the discretion of the officer. In my opinion, I think if it's a large recruiting firm, as you are saying, and if everything else is good on the document, a bit of a crop here and there should not really make a difference. Spouse's ECA says compares to a graduate diploma with focus on management. Which option to select in EE for secondary applicant? I think it will, in that case, it will be 1-year program depending on how long was the program for it. If it was a 1-year program, it will be 1 year. If it was a 2-year program, then it will be 2 years. But if it says graduate diploma, then it would probably be 1 or 2 years depending on the duration of the program. There is nothing here. I have many titles in a company, same knock, 1 reference letter. Should I create multiple items in work history and upload same file in all slots? Yes, you can do that. If the knock code remained the same, you can also create only the entry with the last title and add a letter of explanation stating these were the different titles you held, but your knock code remained the same as is evident from your employment letter. Both options open. Safer bet would be to split and then to add the same document in all these. But when you're adding same document in all those tabs, make sure the proof of salary, the pay stubs, the bank statements, the tax returns are specific to the individual title as you're uploading. Got ITA 511's current medicals expiring. Is it fine to use the same medicals? Yes, absolutely fine. Even 2 days, 1 day before the submission. If those are valid, taken within the last 5 years, then you're good to go. CEC AOR 23rd December submitted photo with wrong dimensions. Will this be a reason for refusal? No, not at all. Absolutely, please don't worry. The dimensions of the picture become very important when you're uploading them after you get your P2 or portal request and you're uploading your photograph. There, your dimensions are very important. For your PR application, no, please don't worry. You're fine. My father has a visitor visa. We applied for super visa in September from India. Medicals done. super visa be stamped from inside Canada when he's here on a visit visa? No, super visa will be stamped only outside Canada. Even your passport request letter will specifically state that. There have been instances where people who applied for super visa came to Canada. They were here on a visit visa, and then once their super visa was approved, they sent their passports to Ottawa for stamping, and there they refused the super visa application, stating that the applicant needs to be outside Canada. So be very careful with that one. And the current processing times for super visa are quite long. Actually, they're exceeding 5 months, bordering almost 6 months. So that's probably the reason why you're not seeing any update. I can get 2 additional points for my wife's 12th grade. Do I need 𝗲 for the 12th grade? If yes, how can I do it? Well, same way you do your 𝗲. You will have to send the high school diploma. The school has to send it directly. And once you get the high school diploma, you can claim relevant points for that equivalency once you get the 𝗲 for it. Over 3 years supervisor experience, but the job title team member first few pay stubs, will it affect PR if job duties of a supervisor for all 3 years in a reference letter? So your job title on the pay stubs, first few pay stubs will not matter as long as your work experience was indeed the supervisor from the time you're claiming. So sometimes, actually in a lot of companies, they don't really update the title on the pay stubs for quite some time. And that can always be explained as long as you have a letter from the employer. So not an issue. Work permit expires March, 𝗲 in process. Her bachelor's degree credential is doubtful due to distance learning. Should I add 12th grade for ECA under 𝗲? Please advise in detail due to very limited timeline. I'm not sure what kind of detail you're looking at, but if you are claiming to get the 𝗲 done for a high school diploma, as in the 12th grade, then everything has to be same. You'll have to follow the same process that you would follow to do any kind of credential evaluation done. The institution will have to send the documents or transcripts and the certificate, the high school diploma, to 𝗲 directly, and once they have evaluated, they will then award the diploma. In this case, if it's a high school diploma, they will give a high school diploma. If the bachelor's degree is considered as valid, then they will give the evaluation for bachelor's degree. Can I combine LOE and PCC medical in the same file? Why will you combine LOE and PCC and medicals? PCC has a separate tab, medical has a separate tab. Please write your LOEs respectively for each of them and then upload it with in the individual tabs, or you can definitely make a common LOE or letter of explanation and upload it in the client information section. I received ITA in 12 month and few weeks short of 1 year. Is it okay to submit my application after 1 year within the 60-day window, or decline ITA and wait? Please do not decline ITA. This is a very, very common glitch. People do receive their invitations 1 month sooner, 1 month earlier than they have completed. That is because of the way the system captures the work experience. The system, 𝗔𝗍 key system or the express entry system, captures the work experience based on the month, year, not as per dates. So it lands up awarding you the points earlier, sooner. So please continue with your application. There is no accept button. Just click on continue, complete the information, prepare your documentation, wait to complete your period of work. Make sure you have your last pay stubs included, hopefully an updated employment letter after you have completed the work period, and then you go ahead and submit your application. You don't need to decline it. What is the accurate way to calculate total work hours if we are sort of 3 to 4 days for 2 years experience? Is there a chance of rejection? Well, again, you fall into the gray areas, and the way to calculate is if there is a shortage or something, you please prepare a list, the tabular form or an Excel sheet or a Word document in tables. Write each bi-weekly period that you have completed, write the number of hours that you have completed, the actual and the capped. You are capping it at 30 hours per week, for bi-weekly 60 hours per week. Do the total. It should equate to 1,560 hours at least over a period of 12 months or 365 days or 1 year or whatever you want to call it. And if you are short, then try and work for extra few days to compensate for that. All part-time job done while studying should be declared under personal history as a secondary applicant and full-time under scheduled break. Yes, all kinds of activities should be disclosed under your personal history section. So if it's your spouse, then disclose it under their personal history section. Stop exaggerating CEC numbers. Draw just restarted after a bad year. Let them continue. Oh my God, you're so angry. At least that's how it's written. Let them continue. So genuine candidates, even below 450, get a chance. Respect those waiting since 24. Don't mislead or trigger. Oh, first of all, thank you for paying for that comment. I appreciate it. Extra money never hurt me. For you, I will just say, stop watching this live stream. Click on exit, click on unfollow if you're following, or click on block, use it. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not exaggerating. I am talking about what is available to everybody to see. If you think 450 has a chance, well, let me know what do you smoke. At least I can recommend it to people who are looking for some high quality stuff to smoke, right? It will help them. 450 can happen. Again, my bad. It has happened once before, right? In the month of February 2021, when IRCC invited 27,000. But in that hope, can you continue expecting that IRCC will conduct another draw and invite everybody into the pool and send out thousands and thousands of invitations? Well, then something is wrong with your expectation. So the idea is not about respecting those. Why should I respect those who are waiting since 2024? I should respect everybody who's waiting from 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Why will you discount those people? Why only till 2024? What about people before that? Why shouldn't you respect those as well? So the point is not about respecting people. The thing is, this is, for example, is it a good example? I'm trying to think of a good example. What could be a good one? This is like, no, I don't want to sound cynical. Actually, I'm trying to do that already, so don't want to do that anymore. Well, so let me rephrase or paraphrase it. I thank you for your comment, and I apologize if I hurt your feelings. And I can't take back what I've said already. And I respect those who are waiting since 2024. And I hope everybody gets an ITA. Is that what you are looking to hear? Sorry, that's not how it works. So you have to wake up, smell the coffee, and understand that 450 is an unrealistic number to expect. I mean, are you even watching what the numbers are looking at? Do you really expect the IRCC will continue inviting thousands and thousands and thousands of people every single draw? How? Where? This is a government you're dealing with. This is not some a hockey league or some sort of a roadside, some sort of a club. This is permanent residents we are talking about. This is not that they have unlimited invitations. They will continue to draw people out and let them come to Canada. It doesn't work like that. I mean, as much as you might want to expect it and hope for it, it doesn't work like that. How many people are there over 450? Let's take a look now that we are having a bit of a kick with this one. There you go. Above 450, there are 72,714. Above 500, there are 16,341. This is as per the last pool breakdown. So the total is 89,000. You have above 451 in the express entry pool right now, 89,000 profiles. And you are really expecting me to say, or rather not read these numbers, and I'm not sure what exactly you're asking me. And if I am misleading, tell me what exactly I'm misleading instead of giving me this kind of a comment. But I expect, but I thank you for paying for this comment, because I'm not sure what you were trying to achieve with this one. Didn't need it. I mean, I'm not misleading you. If you don't like what I'm saying, well, obviously, don't watch it at the end of the day. But the point is, the numbers will 450. I hope it happens. I really hope and pray for those people who are waiting at 450. But be realistic and see, can it really happen? And then tell me if it can really happen. And then shouldn't people be preparing for alternatives? Shouldn't they be getting their plan sorted out, aiming for more realistic expectations and numbers rather than, getting triggered with something like this? Grew up at home in Cameroon, moved to Nigeria before I turned 17 for a year of school, moved back 3 months. I turned 18, moved here when I was 20. Do I need PCC from Nigeria? Will PCC from home include time before and after Nigeria? Grew up home in Cameroon, moved to Nigeria before I turned 17, moved back 3 months after I turned 18. So you definitely need a PCC from Cameroon. From Nigeria, if you haven't stayed there for 6 months or more at a stretch in a row, after you turned 18, then you don't need PCC from there. I'm doing 9 to 5 full-time job in Canada and started remote job in India 3 months ago. Can I claim foreign experience points for that company? Has online presence. I can provide all documents. I'm doing 9 to 5 job in Canada and started a remote job in India 3 months ago. Can I claim? Yes, technically you can. We have realized from certain ATIP notes that concurrent work experience is acceptable. Not easy to claim it, but acceptable. I mean, you will really have to provide documentation to show how this is valid, but yeah, you can claim it. What document is necessary to claim genuine foreign work experience along with Canadian experience, and what's the best way to justify it's legal, not fake? Well, if it is legal, it's legal. You shouldn't have to be able to justify it. But yes, so call logs, meeting logs. If you're working remotely, you will have, you will have tasks assigned to you. You will have work assigned to you. As long as you can provide that and you can deliver that, and you've been delivering that work, the attendance record, your contract, your meeting logs, those will become additional documentation for you to provide if required. Upfront, you need your employment contract, employment reference letter, which will state you were working remotely, your pay stubs, your bank statements, your tax returns, and this is how you would establish it. You're still here. Stop provoking panic and blowing this out of proportion. Why are you merging December with January draw? That makes no sense. Be responsible. People are already waiting. Don't play tricks. Not good. Well, I hope you're going to continue paying and posting these comments, because I can go on like this the whole day. I have no problem. But to your comment, I am not combining December and January. You have to understand, my dear friend, if you don't understand express entry data, then you have to understand the reason why I am combining December and January is because everybody who got invited in December, everybody, their applications will get processed in 2026, this year. And they will count towards the immigration targets for this year. So December and January, though December was calendar year for last year, IRCC does not have a specific quota for ITAs. The quota is for the immigration targets for each year. And they will then try to align their number of ITAs they are issuing with the immigration targets. So December, I hope you have made some more comments, right? I hope you're doing that, right? I'll take in your $14 every day. So it's not about creating panic. It is about understanding. And if you're not able to understand, I really feel bad about it. And what can I say? I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel like this. That's the best I can do. But I will not stop talking about what I can see. And I will not also stop discussing the way things I discuss. And I don't know what else to tell you, my friend. December targets are as much part of 2026 immigration levels plan, then they are. Then you might not think that way, but they are, unfortunately, whether you like it or not. Okay, I hope you have commented some more. During upfront medical, my wife didn't have her vaccination certificate, so the hospital didn't issue a vaccination worksheet. Will this cause any issue? No, this will not cause any issue. It will not make any difference. Please don't worry. Please continue. But of course, you can use the same medicals. 2023 October last week, December first week, I visited India on fully paid leave. Do I need to remove this period from Canadian work experience and add it under personal history? Yes, because this was the period of time, though you were paid, it can't be your Canadian work experience. Canadian work experience has to be in Canada for a Canadian employer. Work experience for a Canadian employer, but outside Canada is not considered as Canadian work experience. So from October to December, which is October, November, December, 3 months, that's not going to be your Canadian work experience. So yeah, please make provisions for that. Currently on LMIA-based work permit, valid until November. If I switch back to study, which will start on September, if study permit got approved earlier, can I still continue full-time work until August? You can continue working full-time until your work permit is valid, even if you have now received an approved study permit. Both the permits can work parallel. There is no problem. And they both can operate parallel. They both will remain parallel. That's absolutely fine. You need to comply with each permit's condition individually. So if you have a valid work permit, you can continue working. My spouse is outside Canada and I'm in Canada. Does an accompanying spouse still need Canadian PCC if he previously lived. No, Canadian PCC is not required upfront. You don't need to provide it, unless, of course, IRCC asks for it. Foreign work experience, I worked in a family restaurant and was getting paid in cash. Interesting. With cash slips, I declared in my study permit, adding the business legal license. Can I claim points? Yes, you can. Provide your documentation, employment reference letters, pay stubs, payment vouchers, cash salary certificate, wage statement. All of these documents you can add as part of your work experience. My work permit expires next month. I'll apply for a visitor record, take my French exam, and if I get NCLC 5, can I work while my work permit is processing? No, absolutely not. Because once your work permit has expired and you have switched to a visitor record, now your status is a visitor. And even after that, if you apply for a work permit, first of all, you cannot apply for a work permit from inside Canada for the processing. It has to be applied for outside Canada processing. So you don't really have any status in Canada to work. Therefore, you can't work until that work permit has been approved. Previous employer denied to give me job duties letter. Okay, where is the question? Well, then, unfortunately, you will not be able to claim those work experience points. You will have to provide alternative documents, if you can, to show that you were actually working and these were your job duties. Express entry counts work experience by month here. My 3 years show in early April, but my start date is April 29. If I get an ITA before April 29, can I accept it? Yeah, you can accept it as long as within that period of 60 days, you will be able to complete your work experience. That is the most important bit. So you can certainly accept your ITA. You can start working on your application, on the forms. You can start entering all the details. You can't submit your application, unfortunately, until you have completed your period of work that you're claiming points for. IRCC work experience of 2 years, 11 months, and 21 days. Is IRCC going to consider it as 2 years of work experience or 1 year? It will be considered as 2 years. Why will it be considered at 1 year? You have completed 2 years already. So it will be counted as 2 years. Work experience 4 years, 1.5 years. Do I declare both if only the latest gives points and still provide documents? Your company Y, which is 2014 to 2015, you don't need to talk about it because it's beyond the 10 years period. Only work with company X, which is 2019 to 2023, that is what will give you points. That is what needs to be included in your application. Even in your personal history, your company Y has no relevance because it's outside the 10-year period. 1 or 2 weeks, 40 hours, 60th day. I'm not sure what is the question here, my friend. If you get your invitation after moving back to India, do you get bridging work permit till I got my COPR? No, you do not. One of the conditions of applying for bridging work permit is that you are inside Canada at the time you make an application and eligible. To be eligible, you should either have a valid work permit, or you should be on a maintained status as a worker, or you should be on a 90 days restoration period and be eligible to apply for a work permit. That's the condition. But you have to be inside Canada to apply for a bridge work permit. Level 2 insurance done with good growth ahead. Should I stay in insurance or move to casual social work? I cannot guide you. I mean, I'm not an a recruitment or a career counselor. I can't guide you on that. Please choose your career ahead with the way you want to pursue. And as far as work experience is concerned, try to gain work experience in hopefully whatever the priority occupations are so that you can use it in your application. So I can't guide you about your career as to which direction you should go. But if you're asking me about in terms of the work experience for priority occupation, definitely at this point of time, the need of the hour is to be eligible in express entry, gain that work experience in a priority occupation. So certainly, if you have an opportunity, do that. Previous employer denied me to give job duties letter, only provided job title. How can I prove my experience? Well, you will need duties and responsibilities. You can approach your HR, request them for duties and responsibilities, keep record of all communication with your employer, and then approach your manager and request them to give it to you on a plain paper in a personal capacity, then get it notarized. Also provide proof that the manager was working in the same company at that point of time. But you have to think out of the box. It is your responsibility to provide the duties and responsibilities, because if you don't, unfortunately, that's not considered as valid then. Received P2 on 115 and plan to travel to 10 issues. Well, no issues, just inform IRCC. Very important. And if you get your ECOPR outside while you're traveling, then apply for PRTD before you come back to Canada. I have my spouse as dependent in PR application. She's outside Canada. If I'm applying for Bridge Open Work Permit, can I include her in the same application? Unfortunately not. You will first have to get your Bridge Open Work Permit approved. Then you can apply for your spouse's open work permit. If your spouse is outside Canada and you are inside Canada, you can't apply together in the same application. I'm on a closed work permit. My wife has an open work permit, got a job in Toronto. Can I relocate and work from home even if my employer is in a different city? Is it permitted under closed permit for PR? Well, technically, yes, it is fine, because the conditions of the work permit do not define your residence location. They define your work location. So as long as you're reporting to the employer that has been indicated in your work and you're working for that employer, then you're good. I did my 1 year as an independent contractor, but the company is not giving any reference letter. I have offer letter, bank statements, T4. Is it okay for FSW? Yes, independent contractor is good. Yeah, absolutely fine. It's okay. I'm not sure. The reference letter, oh no, it's not good. Hold on. Offer letter, bank. Reference letter is what you need in terms of your roles and responsibilities. Without that, you cannot prove your knock code. And if you can't prove your knock code, this will not count. So you will need your roles and responsibilities. That is really, really important. Got my COPR today. I follow your channel since 2020. Thank you for your valuable and excellent service. Your weekly live has helped me in my application. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your saying that. Thank you. I wish you all the very best and congratulations. Postgraduate work permit expires soon. I got accepted for master's. That starts in September. Will getting a study permit allow me to stay till September? Yes, it will allow you, because now if you were to apply for a study permit, you will be on a maintained status to continue staying in Canada. You can't work once your work permit expires, and you can only start working part-time once your new study permit has been approved and you have started studying. Until then, you can't work. About to apply work permit, did BBA here. Can I get into back home masters online for some foreign experience remote back home? Side by side, I work here for knock code. Can I get points? If yes, which is beneficial? Yes, you can. You can study masters. You can work remotely for a foreign worker, a foreign employer. Both are available options. You can choose to opt for either of these two. Postgraduate work permit expires in August 26 due to passport expiry. Passport renewed October 25. Should I apply for post-graduation extension? You can. To apply for extension, expires 2026 due to passport. Well, again, it all depends on when you're, sorry, I think it's there on top of that. Yeah, the best way to do this would be to try and apply for your postgraduate work permit, understanding how much time you're going to get. So depending on how quickly your, so let me rephrase this. What would have been your original or the actual expiry date? If it is 1 year later from when you're getting your expiration, then apply for it now. If it is just 2 or 3 months, then wait till the very last day and then apply, so that you can get the maximum time of maintained status. Because if the day which would have been your actual expiration date, if that passes and the decision is not made, then they will refuse your extension. So if that date is approaching fast, then apply at the very end. And if that date is very far away, then apply as soon as possible. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. I realized one of the job knock is different than what I put in my profile. It doesn't change my score, but it changes my field. Is that okay? Yes, it is okay, but make sure you add a letter of explanation explaining that you have changed your knock code because on review, you found that the new knock code is a better match. And then also add a knock comparison chart, which shows why is that a better match. Ineligible for EE, now completed 11 months Canada experience. Will my EE eligibility be met now, similar to claiming CEC points in 11 months, or wait for 1 year? Well, the thing is, if this is your only work experience, that is 11 months in Canada, then you should wait, because it asks you a question. Have you completed 1 year in Canada? And if you haven't completed 1 year in Canada, by your saying yes, you are not making a truthful disclosure. So in that case, please avoid doing that. But if you also have foreign work experience, then you can create your profile with the foreign work experience and you can add your Canadian experience as ongoing. That would allow you to continue. How to apply for a visitor permit if work permit expires? Please go online, answer the questions about wanting to stay in Canada correctly, and then choose the option that you would like to stay in Canada as a visitor. And that would give you the option to apply for a visitor record or to extend your stay as a visitor. And then you can make an application for a visitor record. Vicky says, sir, you have been great. You understand the numbers. Don't focus on the negativity around. Your content has made a huge difference. Vicky, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Don't worry. This kind of negativity does not impact me. Trust me, if it would have impacted me, I would have completely buried myself in a blanket and gone home and slept and never woken up, kind of a thing, right? Because there are all kinds of people. And I understand some of them get triggered. Some of them get upset because they are in a situation which makes them feel that things are not going their way. And I absolutely understand. My job is not to sort of, push them at a spot where and to make them feel bad. That's not what I'm trying to do. I am only trying to make everybody aware as to, or if they are not yet, or they haven't yet realized that what the situation is, what the numbers are, what they suggest, in my opinion only. And if you are getting triggered with my opinion, then I don't know how to help you do that. But you cannot expect everybody to reserve their opinion and not share it because you are getting triggered. So, or perhaps look at that opinion, make a judgment call. If you don't like it, disagree, and that's fine. If you agree, then agree with it, and that's fine as well, right? So that's the only thing. Sometimes people become upset and unfortunately lose the objectivity. I mean, I'm an immigration consultant. It's my business. I run an immigration company. It is my business to get clients who are going to get through. Why would I spread negativity so that nobody wants to come to Canada or nobody will want to come to me? Why would I do that, right? It doesn't make sense. But I can't help people feeling bad if things are not going their way. I mean, I understand that. And that's the whole point, to make people aware as to what else they can do or what they have to be aware of what they can look forward to, what alternatives they can explore so that they can make the dream come true instead of feeling bad that I'm being negative. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Very kind of you, Vicky. If dummy extension rejected, should we declare it in EPA? Absolutely, yes. Any kind of application, any country, if there is rejection, refusal, please mention it in your application. I'm applying for a work permit renewal now and my work permit expires in May. Can I travel in April or May? How does travel in May affect my implied status? Well, you can travel as many times whenever you want until the day of your expiration of work permit. You must be in Canada when your work permit expires, so that now you can be on maintained status after your work permit has expired. Because of your new extension, you are now on maintained status. So it's like a bridge which allows you to continue being in Canada, continue working in Canada. You can, until your work permit is valid, you can travel in and out like nothing has happened. But after your work permit is expired, if you travel out, then you lose your maintained status. And then if you return back to Canada because you have a TRV, you can't work until your new work permit has been approved. I hope that helps. Nothing here. Common law PR, is it enough to just show proof of document for the last 12 months or do we show proof from the day we started living together? I would try and show as much proof. With common law relationships, there are two things that you're trying to achieve. First is the eligibility as a common law partner, which requires for you to be living together for at least 1 year, at least. And second is the genuineness of your relationship. So provide proof that you are living together at least for 1 year and continue to provide additional proof even if you have been living together longer to show that this is a genuine relationship. So that's how you would go about doing this. Where is the question? Okay. Accidentally ticked yes that I have worked 1 year full-time for employer under LMIA exempt work permit, didn't get any point, just got ITA. Can I still apply? Ticked yes where? If this is the question under your work experience, under do you have a job offer, and that's what you have ticked yes, and that's why you are worrying, then don't worry, you can still upload a copy of your job offer and you're fine, as long as it doesn't change your points. What documents to provide for a company which is closed due to COVID? I have all basic documents, but what extra documents are advised? This can get very tricky. It all depends on IRCC as to what have they determined. You can always try and approach your managers, get an affidavit from them, try to get online screenshots, references, any kind of publications, reports. But worrying about it beforehand will not make, it won't really help you. You probably will have to wait for IRCC to first ask you what they really need, and then probably go about collecting those documents. But a letter of explanation can always help that this company, because at the end of the day, the IRCC needs to validate your work experience, that it is genuine. And if they are not able to do it, they will give you a chance to explain or to add something, and then it becomes your responsibility. So there is no clear answer as to what can you do if a company is shut down. From your side, collect whatever evidence you can with regards to your work experience, including affidavits from other employees, managers who are working there at that point of time. Work customer service back home, but I was SME. Will it be counted under tier 2 even if my job role shows CSR with the right duties? So your comment is very confusing. The knock code always is determined based on your duties. So if your duties say you are a CSR, then you are a CSR. If your duties say you are an SME, then you are an SME. It will all depend on the duties that are on your documents. I took paid time outside Canada while working, mostly short trips, plus 125-day trip to home country. To be safe, do I need to cover only the long absence or all the time spent outside Canada? To be safe, only cover the long absence. Short trips, 1 day, 2 days, those are part of your work. That doesn't really matter. If I completed 2 years of Canadian experience in December, got my job duty letters in March, and quit working in August and left Canada, will my CEC eligibility end in March 26 or August 26? Count from the last date of your work experience. 2 years from then, that is when your CEC eligibility ends. I am a BAP in NS. I don't know what that means. With 10-month contract, no work in school vacation. Once I completed 1560 from the job, can I apply NS EEPNP? If I do 2 part-time, 2 knocks, can I? I'm very confused. I'm not sure what you're trying to ask me. I'm a BAP. I don't know what that means. Once I complete 1560 hours. So your 1560 hours have to be completed in 12 months. So that is the main requirement. If you are completing in 12 months, 1560 hours, that is the most important. Work experience completed in 10 months does not count as 1 year. That is the most important factor. I have a valid TRV until May 27, have received an ITA. Can I visit Canada as a visitor, and what document should I carry? Well, at the end of the day, you can visit, yes. The documents is whatever documents you need to prove that you are a visitor and your intention is to be here only temporarily. My wife is on spouse work permit. Can she study 6 months PSW? If this is her initial entry into Canada on a work permit as a spouse, then yes, she can study 6 months. Short-term course, less than 6 months. If this is not her initial entry, but when I'm saying initial entry means that she had a different status in Canada and then you extended that status and this is her extended status, then she will not be able to study for 6 months. She can study online if you want. I've applied PNP non-express entry, April 25, closed work permit, expiring. Applied for bridge open work permit, no TRV, family on emergency, back home. Any good suggestion? Well, you can travel. If you don't have a TRV, you will not be able to apply for a TRV until your bridge open work permit is approved. And that's so if it's an emergency and if you have to travel, then you have to travel. But you will not be able to travel back to Canada until you get a TRV, and you can apply for TRV only once your postgraduate work permit has been approved. Which will benefit more, online back home masters or foreign experience, and when can I start? Well, you please calculate the points and see which one will give you more points depending on your situation. Whatever gives you more points, go ahead and do that. Yeah, that's the way to calculate it. Always see which is what is, because it's a 1 year period. Now in that 1 year period, in some cases you can study and also work at the same point of time, if you really could do that. So if you can do that, both, do both. If you have to choose between one, then whatever gives you more points. How long PCC is valid? I did it 1 year ago and I never left the country. Should I do it again? If you did the PCC while you were outside the country, you did that PCC, you never went back again, then it remains valid. Add a cover letter stating the same. My employer is processing LMIA. Meanwhile, my work permit will expire before ESDC decision. Is it better to leave Canada or apply for visitor record extension? Thank you for these sessions. I appreciate it. Thank you. You can choose to apply for a work permit extension on the basis that the LMIA application is in process. When you do get your LMIA approved, then you send it through the web form. That will allow you to continue living and working in Canada. Yeah, that's what you can do. 508, any hope? Well, fingers crossed. I hope IRCC continues with their draws. And if they do continue with the draw, then, and a decent sized draw, then yeah, 508 is a definite and a realistic possibility. 4 hours short to complete 2 year on a 60-day. Please help. Well, you don't need my help. You need to get that 4 hours of work experience in and get that sorted out. So I'm not sure. I mean, I can't really help with this. If you're short, you're short. And if you have to submit your application, then just remember that it is at the discretion of the officer. What is the process to get the PCC for Saudi Arabia? Please check IRCC website, how to get PCC for Saudi Arabia, and it will tell you. I don't think you need a PCC for Saudi Arabia if you are not a current resident, but check IRCC website. I have 8 months of foreign experience. If I go back to my country, do 4 months of work and then be back to Canada, will that raise some questions? Well, even if it raises that question, answer honestly and say, I went back, did my 4 months because that would give me more points for 1 year of work experience. That's why I did it. No harm, nothing wrong. You're not doing anything to game the system. You are absolutely by the book and legit. Everything is genuine, no problem. One of my employers in Canada, I worked for 2 months, didn't provide me ROE, checked MSCA, didn't find any ROE. Can I claim the work experience without the ROE? Yes, you can, as long as you have the employment documents, pay stubs, T4s, and you're good. Work experience with XX is July to August, but I mistakenly entered July 18, August 21. How can I explain this in my ITA? Well, simply just like this, that in error, I wrote this in my postgraduate work permit application. Actually, it is this. These are the documents available. I apologize for that innocent mistake because it will not make any difference because it is not material. Means even had you mentioned it correctly, it would have still not made any difference in your application. So you would have still been good. So don't worry, it is not going to create any problems for you. For my guys, don't do any more super chats. I will not be able to complete it. Please. I mean, I'm actually out on a holiday. Yeah, right. So no, you can't see it, right? You can't see it. It's really too bright. Yeah, I'm out on a holiday and people are not very happy that I'm on it at this point of time. So please don't do any more super chats. I will not be able to complete it. And okay. For my e-profile, I used a knock code which aligns with my job. After receiving an ITA, I realized I don't meet the academic qualifications in an engineering degree. Should I change my knock code? No, you don't need to meet the employment requirements in your knock code. And IRCC's website itself says that. I'm not sure if I can find it for you very, very quickly, given the fact that I need to now go see if I can very quickly find this for you. CEC selection criteria, qualifying work experience, found it. Let me see. I will remove your name and add share screen. Okay, you can't see it. Yeah. So this is the IRCC website, okay? And here it says, first of all, work experience need not be continuous. And here, this is the most important. Employment requirements listed in the NOC description are not applicable. And this is the IRCC's, operational instructions and guidelines, right? So this is what it is. And I'm not saying it, IRCC is saying it, that the employment requirements mentioned listed in the NOC description are not applicable. So please do not worry. It will not be an issue if you do not have that specific engineering degree, as long as you were performing the job and you can prove on what basis you were able to perform the job. So because while the NOC requirements under employment requirements are not required to be met, the IRCC officer can always raise a question on the credibility and the genuineness of the work experience. And that's where you have to be able to prove it's legit. Me and my fiancé are going to apply for PR in the next 6 months for accelerated dilemma is common law partner or married. We prefer common law. Well, then apply for common law. I mean, I'm not sure why is it a dilemma. If at the time you're making an application, you are common law partners, apply as common law partners. If that changes in future because you got married, raise a form at IRCC. No. If at the time you've gotten married, then apply as a married person. I'm not sure why the dilemma. My current score is 506. Any chance of getting invitation? Well, fingers crossed. I hope you get invitation soon. I can't say when, how. For common law, along with photos together, we are planning to attach letters from our friends. Do these letters need to be notarized or affidavit? There is no requirement for the letters to be notarized or for it to be an affidavit. It adds credibility, but there is no requirement per se. You could do a bit of both, get few notarized and few not. Worked full-time for 4 months and then leave to find a job in my own field, and I get a new job after 3 months. Will these initial 4 months will still be counted? Yes. If this is a Canadian experience and this is your only work experience, then yes, it counts. As I just showed you in the previous screenshot with IRCC, your work experience need not be continuous, need not be in the same NOC code, need not be with the same employer. Absolutely fine. Currently working in this NOC code, expiring soon. I'm not sure what is expiring soon. Employer is now offering LMIA in 22312. The duties and responsibilities are different. If switching to this new code, will it cause a problem? No, it will not cause a problem for your PR. At the end of the day, it is your responsibility to be able to prove that you can perform that job. Only then you will get a closed work permit. So as long as you are getting the LMIA, you are able to apply for a work permit. And in your work permit, you're able to prove that you can perform the job in the NOC code in which you are getting your work permit, and you're getting your LMIA, then it's all good. And LMIA, the PR application has got nothing to do. PR application is based on your past work experience. You have valid, legit proof of that work experience. You can provide that documentation for the proof experience. Then you're good to go. Work permit expiring in 26 August. Recently completed 5 months PSW. If I move back 6 months, will IRCC count as genuine as I have 7 years HR? Well, at the end of the day, again, it's not about will IRCC consider it as genuine. If you have worked, you have the documentation, you have all the proof to support your claim, then, and you're able to prove how is it that you're able to do that kind of a job, then it's your to claim and you can fight it anywhere. I mean, the work experience has to be legit because you're from a different field that you can always, dispute and you can provide relevant documentation. While applying my PSW, I selected open work permit by mistake. Then I withdraw application and file a new application. Is that okay? Yes, that is okay. Yeah, no problem. My work permit expires in February, received ITA under a non-accompanying, wife has no status, has 2 visitor visa refusals. I'd like your opinion. Well, my opinion is it's extremely risky. It continues to be risky as long as you are able to provide legit reasons as to why your spouse is not accompanying and of course provide supporting documentation with it, then you can continue. Because IRCC has been very, very nasty in terms of clamping down on this non-accompanying aspect, because the system, when it was designed for non-accompanying, it was never meant for people to get more points, and only that's why I choose this as not accompanying. But obviously everybody has been doing that, so therefore now IRCC is very strict. They really want to know what is the reason your spouse is not accompanying. If you're able to prove it, then you're good. Is salary crit work low bank status for my... Sorry, can't understand. Work low bank stats for... No idea. That's a big difference between people on expiring TRVs versus available PR, as this year, what happens to the property prices if TRV self-exit in mass? Well, I hope for all our sakes that the property prices continue to drop. They are already dropping, and I hope that it continues to drop. I'm an independent contractor, have a written contract that outlines my roles and responsibilities. Same knock used to get postgraduate work. But does it count as work experience, and can I apply for PE? No, it doesn't. The reason for that is that document was given to you before you started working. IRCC has no way of knowing whether you were actually performing that role or was there any change. So while you can use it if you don't have any other document, and you can request IRCC to consider that, but I have seen refusals and I have seen ATIP notes and GCMS notes where IRCC has raised the legit concern, and there is even a federal court where the judge went with the officer in the refusal and said yes, the reason is legit for refusal, because how does IRCC officer know that your duties and responsibilities remained what you are saying after, during that period of work, that the duties given to you are at the beginning of the work, not after. Part-time employee working a total of 60 plus hours bi-weekly, does it count as full-time experience for PR? Okay, 1 week is 20, another week is 20, 40. It doesn't count as full-time. It will count as 20 plus 30, 50 hours per week. Now, in a bi-weekly paycheck, if there is no bifurcation, then yeah, you can take a claim of 60. But if the bi-weekly paycheck or any other record shows 20 and 40, then this will be 50. But if there is only one bi-weekly paycheck and it shows 60, then 60 is full-time. Can my 3 years of Indian work experience be considered foreign experience, including 1 year of full-time work during my bachelor's? Yes, absolutely. If you have completed work experience outside Canada while you were studying, whether it was during a bachelor's degree, master's degree, or any other study, and you were working, or if it was part of your internship, or if it was part of your studies, or if it was part of, for example, dentists do a house job, or chartered accountants do an internship, as a financial auditor.ca. All of that is legit, acceptable. You can claim points for it. You need your work experience documents. It has to be paid. It has to be under a valid knock code. That's the condition. Nothing. Last question for the day. The lawyer listed me as unemployed and missed my work experience in my spousal dependent visa as an in-Canada application with a pending decision. Can I raise web form to update IRCC? Well, raise web form to update IRCC with your missed work experience. Yes, you can. As long as it is put on record that you did inform IRCC that this information is missed and you did record your work experience, because later on when IRCC will go back and check your documentation and they will see the inconsistency, then that will become a problem. So yes, by all means, please raise a web form and let them know. Guys, please don't do super chats. These are the last 2 questions. Please don't do. I will not be taking any more questions. I'm holding both work and study permit. Can I claim full work experience while I have been working full-time under my work permit and been a full-time student? Yes. If you have work authorization, if you have work permit that allows you to work and you're working under that conditions, you can claim work experience even if you have a parallel study permit. Can we add spouse as accompanying after receiving ITA? Yes, you can. There is no problem. You can do that. Wow. Okay. Interesting live stream with at least one person who had a bit of a grievance with what I'm saying. So I apologize to you, my friend. I'm not sure who you are. But, difference of opinion is normal. Everything that I say is not set in stone. Who the hell am I? And at the same point of time, understanding that it's somebody else's opinion and not getting triggered by it is also something which some people might have to understand. So therefore, if you don't agree with my analysis, understanding, opinion, content, what I have to say, then I still appreciate your taking the time to watch this and being with me on my live stream. I really do. Thank you for that. But I honestly can't do much without just reading the data the way it is and telling you the things the way they are. That is something which I will always continue to do because that's what I've always been doing. But thank you for joining in, everybody. Thank you for being a lovely audience. It was lovely catching up. Stay in touch and stay forever hopeful, and I will bring you more updates next week. Take care.